Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. Your Excellency, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency and dear brother, President Jonathan Goodluck Jonathan, our host, His Excellency Goodwin Obaseki, Your Excellency, the former President of Benin, Thomas Boni Aye, Your Excellencies, the former Vice President of Zambia, and the former Vice President of Nigeria, Your Highnesses, traditional leaders, deputy governors, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin. Let me begin by saying that I'm deeply honored and humbled to be invited by my brother and friend, the former President of Nigeria, President Goodluck Jonathan, to participate in this forum. Indeed, education and the leadership agenda is one that is very close to my heart, and I believe to all our hearts. And this is because we must never be allowed to fall by the wayside as we build our African continent, a continent that each and every one of us calls home. It is said that when you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him to fish, you have fed him for a lifetime. Education is the lifeline for our children to sustain themselves in the ever-challenging and changing global landscape. As leaders, our mandate is to ensure that the vision of our nations, as well as our continent, can be fulfilled. And indeed, it is possible to achieve a better future for our continent. It is not possible to achieve a better future for our continent without significant investment in education and the correct capacity building. The African continent today finds itself at a very critical position as far as history is concerned. We must recognize that the discussions we have in this session will shape the future of our continent, because as a continent, today, we are faced with several that are great impediments to our progress. This, however, should not stand in the way of our transformative agenda of change. And that transformative agenda is anchored in education and leadership. In Kenya, we made deliberate efforts to preserve the continuity of education through various developments for the sake of our future. We continue to dedicate resources to stabilize remote regions, to build schools and post educators so that the literacy gap between urban and rural centers could be closed. We introduced free primary education so that no child would be left behind in the formative years of their development. During my tenure, my government intentionally set aside funds and heavily invested in education-based infrastructure. We built classrooms across the country, and already existing classrooms were further improved to enable them to accommodate more students. And this we did in collaboration with local leadership and communities. We went further to establish community-based management schools, where community-based organizations and parent-teacher associations played a critical role in mobilizing resources and managing schools, as well as carrying out an oversight role. This ensured that our children did not have to travel far to get a good education. As a government, I initiated the 100% transition from primary to secondary level education. This meant that all Kenyan children who left primary school would find a place in a high school in order to continue with their education. This program ensured that our children from across the country got equal exposure to learning opportunities regardless of their socio-economic background. To further even the playing field, we invested considerably in the digitization of the education sector. Digital literacy was a key priority for Kenya, to ensure that our children were not left out of the global village. ICT laboratories and centers were set up by government to enhance learning environments and digital literacy. Our vision and goal was to ensure that every Kenyan child had the same opportunity, and we embarked on a program to give all children an equal fighting chance in the fast-paced and ever-evolving global village. Our two projects involved re-energizing and refocusing of the education curriculum and improving digital literacy. This also led out to a multi-pronged rollout of ensuring that every single primary school in our republic was connected to the electric grid, and where the grid was not, was powered through solar and other such technology. To achieve this, and also to further enhance our digital program, every government-owned primary school student was to receive a tablet to breach the gap of digital literacy between urban students and children in rural areas. We went further to introduce the competency-based curriculum designed to equip our children with skills and to give them a hands-on approach in problem-solving techniques through assessments made in every stage of their learning. This curriculum ensures that the child's talent is identified and therefore nurtured, them with the opportunity to cast their nets wide when it comes to a selection of a profession. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I share our experiences in Kenya to illustrate the importance of functional education and the place of political leadership in making this dream a reality. Political goodwill is very key in implementing strategies and mobilizing resources to unlock the potential that lies within or outside our continent for sustainable growth and prosperity. As a continent, we must look at our curricula in comparison with the changing global needs and embrace that aims to foster critical thinking, innovation, and creativity, as this will bolster the continent to unmeasurable heights. It is our task as leaders of this great continent to empower our young and youth with the tools that will shape and prepare them to be great and active participants in the global economy. It is equally our duty to ensure that our young people become effective agents of positive change in their communities. We must therefore invest in education to ensure inclusivity, diversity, and equal opportunity for all our children. This will help foster a conducive environment for innovation and growth. As African leaders gathered here today, past, present, and from the applause I heard, possible future leaders, let us take up this task with the seriousness that it deserves. We need to do this in order to prepare our leaders of tomorrow. The deliberations that will be held here today must by all means provide a roadmap, develop strategies and policies that will set our continent on a winning trajectory. We need to understand that the example that we set will serve to teach our precious children who look up to us with expectation and anticipation. Rhetoric and empty promises and lack of tangible actions by we, the leaders of today, only serves to destroy our future. We must therefore lead by example, embodying values of honesty, humility, and servant leadership. We must work on eradicating corruption and the mismanagement of public resources, as they are the cancer that stifles progress and destroys public trust. The composition of this audience today comprises highly educated men and women who have sought wisdom from a globe for the benefit of our beloved continent. We are therefore charged with the responsibility to ensure that the youth in our respective communities and countries can also benefit from quality education right here in our mother continent, Africa. Let us acknowledge our challenges and find ways to do more and be more than just famous names. To be the great builders of Africa's future, and that can only be achieved if we invest in our education and we invest in our children, thereby in our future. Let us intentionally empower our young people, intentionally allow ourselves to be held accountable as we carry our duty to our people. Unity is our strength. Africa has a lot of potential, and we have the key to usher the continent into an era of prosperity, peace, and sustainable development. My hope is that the deliberations we begin today will be the step we need in our journey to build the Africa we dream of, an Africa that will secure its place in the global arena by empowering our youth through education. Not just an education, but an education that will make them competitive, encourage them to be innovative, and to embrace creativity. As I conclude, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the Governor of Edo State, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki. I congratulate you for the enormous strides that you and your government have taken to further the education of the children of Edo State. Well done to you and your team. Congratulations once again.